Hello, and it's time for a very special video for number 10, a two-part death video. Also, as requested by a unanimous vote, I will now be including video of the death as I discuss it. So, getting right into it, today's death comes from a show called Death Note. Spoiler warning. Before I list my two deaths, I do have a few honorable mentions for this show. Yagami Soichiro, Light's dad, Rem, and the epic old badass Watari. So without further ado, my top two deaths, obviously enough, go to L and Light. The reason I could not choose between the two of these is one main factor. I could not determine whether L's death was more tragic or that Light's death was more satisfying. So I figured why not just talk about them both. So, starting with L. I think for many people, L's death is the climax of the show. Seeing such an important character die is shocking and tragic, as well as an enormous blow to the Kira investigation. The way that the second part of the anime goes about the Kira investigation was unsatisfactory to many people, as well as without L, the investigation was seemingly going in circles. Anyway, enough about the significance. The reason that this death was important to me, personally, was how somber the entire episode was leading up to it and during his death. The part with Lisa walking around the town singing, the orphanage flashbacks, the bells ringing references, and most importantly, the foot wiping scene which parallels perfectly the foot washing moment between Jesus and Judas Iscariot in the Bible. Another thing that made the scene great was how L was able to learn right before his death the identity of Kira, almost like his death didn't matter to him because he was still able to learn the truth. During the entire investigation, it was relatively clear that L knew that Light was Kira. He just couldn't prove it due to the lack of evidence and the convincing alibis. So seeing him smile back to Light's evil grin was just the ultimate conclusion to L's character in my perspective. Anyways, on to Light's death. Light's death was, to me, a double-sided coin. The whole show I had agreed with Light's goal and method, but been alienated and increasingly less approving of it as his character regressed into insanity and NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, which is a real thing, by the way. Look it up if you want. Anyway, I was at first sad that Light had to die and could not win, because I thought that even if he was somewhat crazy, his idea was just. But then there was a comment from Nier where he said, "You're not God, you're just a murderer." And that just really hit home that even if his intentions were good, the way he went about it was just evil. It was the only point in the show where I truly wanted Light to lose, and the point where he did. Also, the fact that Matsuda, the one most convinced by Light's deception, being the one to lose his patience and fatally shoot him, was very gratifying, and really completed Matsuda's character. Also, the scene where Light is fleeing for his life, running along the chain-link fence, there's a scene that single-handedly completes the show in a near-perfect way. Light runs past a version of himself years younger, before he had been corrupted by the absolute power of the Death Note. Seeing the contrast between the two made it totally evident just how badly his character had degenerated, and made his death necessary and satisfying to the extreme. The fact that Ryuk did it also made the show complete, wrapping together one of the first moments between the two. And the end.